Hello, Nickel here and welcome to a new video. This video is kind of a part 2 of a video I released recently where I talked about the new Paldean forms and convergent evolved Pokemon. Now I want to talk about the designs we got that really should not exist in the form they're in right now. And of course, the one we are starting with is a real disappointment. It's Dudunsparce. Dudunsparce is such a lazy design Pokemon. It's literally something you can do in 5 minutes in Photoshop. I mean, I'm showing it right now on the screen. It's really not hard to do. It's just a bit longer than Sparse. And I know the argument here that it is Tsuchinoko, which pretty much just is what Dunsparce is. So it wouldn't make sense for it to evolve into, for example, a dragon, which most people design it when they make fan art of a potential evolution for Dunsparce. But look at it this way, wouldn't it make sense for a fish to evolve into an octopus? No, wouldn't really make sense. Would it make sense for a gun to evolve into a tank? Well, kinda, yes, maybe. If you haven't picked it up yet, I'm talking of course about Remoraid and Octillery. Would it make sense for a serpent to evolve into a dragon, aka a Tsuchinoko into a dragon? Wouldn't that make sense? It is Pokemon after all. Doesn't really have to be completely biologically accurate. No, it just has to be fitting to the theme of the evolution line. Let's look at what we got. Another Dunsparce, with 1 or 2 more segments of its body and slightly wider open eyes. Marvelous. Is this a quality of evolution design we should expect? I can make something like this easily. Look at this new Snorlax I just made. I mean, why not? It's just as good as the Dunsparce we got. But something that really pisses me off about this form is, why is it an evolution in the first place? Look at it this way. Why is the 3-segmented Dudunsparce not 3rd stage if the 2nd stage can just be a 2-segmented one? Why not make them all just Dunsparce and have these new forms be just that, new forms? Rarer forms you can find in the wild, or a low chance of getting while breeding. Wouldn't that be just as good, if not better, because you're not just making an evolution for the sake of making an evolution? Remember when they didn't make Mega Flygon? Cause, and I quote, none of the designs were fitting? But is this really fitting? This weird abomination is pretty subpar, even if it's just supposed to be a bigger Tsuchinoko. At least change up the design somewhat. It looks kinda surreal as an evolution. Look at what we got before this generation of really cool evolution, and even in this generation with Annihilate and the sorts. Really amazing designs, and then the Dunsparce, a Pokemon that the only possible way I can see it being created is like this. Watch out! The Dunsparce? The Dunsparce really invokes somewhat of the lazy Gen 1 evolution design scheme. Don't get me wrong, I don't completely hate this Pokemon. As I said, I just would like it to be a form instead of evolution. And this is not because, oh, Gen 1 was so much better. It's completely the opposite. There are a lot of evolutions in Gen 1 I dislike too. For example, Voltorb into Electrode. The Pokemon is already based on a fictional object they themselves designed and then just threw eyes on. And then, for the evolution, instead of doing at least anything creative, they just flipped it and gave it a mouth. Or Muk. Muk is such a dumb evolution as well. I mean, of course, there's a lot of nostalgia behind these Pokemon. They're the first we got, and that's pretty much the only thing they have going for them that makes them okay, because they were one of the first designs. But in Gen 9, getting something like the Dunsparce, even the name is stupid. It's pretty much a joke. I really like the world building in Pokemon, and Pokemon like the Dunsparce make me question what this all is even about. But when we talk about just repeating something, we have to talk about Tandemaus. And I get it, keep the pitchforks down, it's all good. I really like Tandemaus, and I like Mousehold as well. They're really cute, they have a cool gimmick, they're really interesting, it's something special. But come on, if I Google mouse plush or something like this, if I scroll down, I will find a plush that looks like it. This is really not a super interesting design, and it's fine. It's fine for Tandemaus, honestly. Really simplistic, there's a lot of charm for it, but the Maushold, instead of doing something with the design, they just took the design, downscaled it, called it a day. Yes, it's cute, but that's it. It's cute. It's a cute, simple, lazy design. Can't really say much about that. Imagine Gen 6. No Mega Evolutions, but we get evolutions. And then you get a Kangaskhan evolution with just the baby out its pouch. Would you really be happy? Is this really what you would have wanted from a Kangaskhan evolution? Honestly, now imagine they stripped Kangaskhan of all its design, just made it a blank kangaroo beast thing, dinosaur with a pouch and a baby, and the baby is exactly the same design. Would you really like that? Would you really be happy even with all the design? If you look at this Pokemon, again, it could have been just different forms. It could have very well just been all different forms. If you look at the models, you barely see that this is an evolution. And talking about barely seeing evolutions, what's up with Pomo and Pomot? Pomi into Pomo is just it standing up. That's it. On another note, when I first played through the game, I didn't know Pomi had 2 stages. Pomi and Pomo looked the same to me. Just later did I realize there were 3 of them, and Pomot's not helping too much either. It looks eerily similar to Pomo, especially as a silhouette. I don't think anyone would immediately know of which one I show the silhouette right now. It's Pomo, by the way. This is not a Pokemon you would really remember. There's something in character design that is really important. That is being able to recognize the character always, if it's a silhouette or not. And I'm just gonna throw in some silhouettes of famous characters, and if you've seen the shows they're in or not, you will recognize them. Why? Because their designs are really interesting, they're unique, they're good designed. And then you throw something in like Pomo and Pomot, and you see them and you think, which is which? Especially for a Pokemon like Pomot, which is a clone of their mascot. Wouldn't you want for them to be unique in some kind of way? But now you just copy and pasted the same Pokemon basically 3 times? The other Pikachu clones at least had personality. This thing, I don't know, I don't really like how it looks at me. Not liking the look of something to the side, because the next thing is Squawkability. Squawkability is a cool designed Pokemon. I like it. I had it in my team for at least 1 gym or something, and I really like the idea of having multiple colors, but here comes the thing that I don't really like, and that is the way the multiple colors are implemented. Are they similar to Florges? Maybe are they more similar to Basculin? Yes and no. There are 4 colors of Squawkability, but they're put into 2 packages of colors. One package has the ability Guts, and the other has Sheer Force. And I don't know about you, but I don't like this. To me it feels kinda half-assed. Like they wanted them to be unique, but at the same time have the gimmick of choosing your color. And I would have rather have them all have the same abilities, so it's just a preference thing where you take the color you like the most, or have each of them have a different ability. Now you have 2 weird stacks of Pokemon. Green and blue have Guts, and white and yellow have Sheer Force. So if you want to use a Sheer Force Squawkability, but you want a blue one, no luck for you. This is really nitpicking. It's nitpicking on a high level. This isn't really an issue. It's pretty much an issue that I have with the Pokemon, because I kinda like it, but I don't like the implementation. It feels like they wanted to have the best of both worlds, and to me they just fail at it. Going back to talking about the designs, Bramblin. Not Bramblegast, but Bramblin. Why do you exist? Why couldn't it be just Bramblegast? Bramblin really feels like this gen's Voltorb. The evolution barely changes, but unlike Electrode, it is an improvement. So why did they have to give it a pre-evolution? Tandemaus has a similar concept and doesn't need one. Why did they have to slap one on Bramblegast then? If you see them in the game, I wouldn't blame you for confusing them for each other. It's just a small and a big one, with the bigger having an actual design. It's not a bad Pokemon, just a really bad evolution that shouldn't be one. Just have it be a single stage Pokemon and you have a certified banger to me. This way it really is a contender for worst change between evolutions. But the number one has yet to come.
And his name is
Finizen. Why does Finizen have to have an evolution? Why couldn't Palafin be the Pokemon? I mean, you already done this, Game Freak. You already created Wishiwashi. Now imagine if Wishiwashi was a pre-evolved Pokemon. And when it evolves into the same Pokemon, but has an ability that changes its form. It's a Pokemon that has literally no real design change and no heart on its chest. But if this is enough for a Pokemon to be an evolution of something, then we are really out for some really stupid designs, let's be real. Finizen and Palafin just make me mad. It's so annoying. It's just such a bad evolution line. Doesn't make sense. Imagine if something like Reboot would evolve and then the evolution is just a Reboot with Nikes on or something, and that's pretty much it. This is really not what I expect from an evolution. But I come to think, why are these evolutions like this? We have cool evolutions in this generation. The aforementioned Annihilate is really cool. Or the Clodsire. Clodsire is such a good Pokemon. It's one of the most beloved ones of this generation. Or Farigirafts, interesting as well, a change on the idea of Girafarig. It's really interesting how they can make such good designs and then just don't in the next Pokemon. But it kinda makes sense. What are the most beloved Pokemon this generation? Probably the Paradox Pokemon. They're a really interesting idea. They have a really interesting design philosophy, and they're pretty much like evolutions to existing Pokemon without being evolutions, which kind of doesn't make sense to me because, for example, give it Donphan Ancient Power and it should be able to evolve into its past form, maybe give it Future Sight to evolve in its future form, but that's just a stupid thought. Anyway, to me it kind of feels like they had to rethink how they do evolutions. For the Paradox forms not to feel like just that, like weird evolutions that aren't evolutions. Maybe that is why the evolutions are kind of lackluster this generation. But there are great evolution lines in this gen as well. Like the Firestarter, for example. Smallest evolution line is really cool as well. Or Karkadet, a really popular Pokemon now. I don't think that Pokemon designs this gen are bad. I know I made 2 videos about how they're lazy and bad, but if you really watched the videos, you should understand that it's more I'm disappointed at how they kinda missed the mark. It's really hit or miss this generation. The issue I have with these designs is less about the designs and more about the implementation. More about what this could mean for the future, because if these evolutions stick, we could get more like this next generation. Maybe there then no more evolutions we can really say feel like an evolution. We get just a bunch of Bramblin and Dudunsparce. Maybe a Shuckle. I really don't want this kind of future, so that's why I really wanted to make this video, to get my opinion out there. Maybe you have a different perspective on the thing. Maybe you think I'm exaggerating, or that I'm kind of stupid for talking about this even. Maybe you just clicked on the video to dislike and then leave, but that's no here nor there. I really hope you enjoyed this video and can understand my point of view on this topic. So now I just want to wish everyone a good day and stay healthy. See you next time.